When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man!
Hello everybody, it's Jay. I am recording a solo podcast for you. Yeah, we're going to twice a week for about a month. I'm going to see how that works out for everybody. Well, look, you guys have tweeted me. You said you like the solo podcast. So, okay, let's do it. Mostly on Twitter at JMohr37, you guys have said, hey, how come you don't talk about Mafia more? That show, I don't know why I said that like Norm Macdonald. Hey, how come you don't talk about that movie, that Mafia? It was a good movie there, you know. I will talk about Mafia, how I got the part, how great it was to work with Jim Abrams and Christina Applegate and everybody. Lloyd Bridges, his last movie. I'll talk about all of that. I am right now in my car going to pick up my son. I had a Valentine's, this is old. You're listening to this in a time machine because I recorded it a while ago so I could post it later, at a very later date. I'm going to pick up my son right now, and if you want to help put my son through college, you can use the Amazon banner at jmohr.com. That is completely legit. A couple people have tweeted, emailed me at jmohr.com and said, I don't use your banner because the fact that it's a direct deposit to your son's college fund, the fact that you said that out loud kind of bothers me. To which I reply, okay, that's cool. Then you can use Bill Burr's or Adam Carolla's or, I don't know, whoever else has an Amazon banner. That's cool. That's fine with me. Do whatever you wish, my friends, because I love doing this podcast, and the best way for you to support it is to, of course, use the Amazon banner at jmohr.com. But look, do me a favor. If you're going to buy stuff, email me at jmohr.com. It's a very interactive website. My good friend, Corey Fry, she has put the website. Really, it's like a hub. You could really spend an entire afternoon if you don't feel well one day, if you got like a flu or a nasty head cold and you stay home from work, you really could kill 3 hours on my website. There's a lot of videos, a lot of audio. The podcast is up there. The Tumblr page, which I didn't even know was still going, is great and fun. But if you do use the Amazon banner at jmohr.com, email me what you bought. All they do is redirect you to Amazon if you click the banner. And then Amazon just wants to know that you got there from my website. It doesn't cost you anything. So it's free. It's just Amazon wants to be aware of the traffic that you got there from my website. That's it. That's all. And just email me what you bought so I can read what you bought on the podcast. I'm driving now, so if I read what you bought while I was driving, I would probably crash because it's Southern California and there's a lot of cars, and I would bump into them, and then I'd get in a fight with somebody like the NASCAR guys do. So do that and come see me do stand-up comedy. All my dates are at jmohr.com. And I'll tell you what they are right now because I have them written on my hands because I'm in the car. But I do have my hands. I am 10 and 2 right now. I am at 10 and 2, so I'm going to look at 10 on my left hand. 10. Hey, San Francisco, Cobb's Comedy Club, March 12th, March 13th, March 14th, March 15th. Cobb's Comedy Club, San Francisco. I love San Francisco. I think it's... hey, you hear that motorcycle just go by me? We're in, like, gridlock traffic, and these guys just zip down that line, the center line. Don't you think, like, once a year you should be able to just open your car door and watch one of these guys fly? Just once a year. Not all the time. You don't want to go around, like, whacking motorcycle guys. It might be somebody cool like Alonzo Bowden. You don't want to hurt Alonzo Bowden. He rides a motorcycle. But just once a year. And, like, you have to check off a list and mail it in. Okay, I was at this place. I was at this location. I was on the 5 freeway. And I was sitting there in traffic, eating my own ass, and I was angry. And then 14 motorcycle guys just came flying by at 80 miles an hour, and I thought it'd be fun to watch one do cartwheels and somersaults. I don't know. Sounds good to me. San Francisco Cobb's, March 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. San Francisco, I'm coming your way. We're little trolley cars, climb halfway to the stars. The morning fog may chill the air. I won't care. My love waits there. And by my love, I mean you guys at Cobb's. Yeah, I could sing. Brea, Orange County. Love, love, love the Brea Improv in North Orange County. A lot of white guys acting like Mexican guys. You see a lot of, like, white guys with red hair, and they're wearing, like, Affliction t-shirts and flip-flops, and they have pickup trucks with, like, their whole family stenciled on the back of the truck, and then there's a picture of Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes taking a leak on a Chevy logo if they're in a Ford, and if they're in a Chevy, it's Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes taking a leak on a Ford logo. What better way to let me know where you stand in the automotive industry than to have a picture of a no longer running cartoon character taking a piss on a logo of a automotive conglomerate. Brea, I'm going to be there March 20. Busy March for JJ, huh? Yeah, third person. I'm going to refer to myself in the third person the rest of this podcast. So listen to JJ, okay? JJ wants to tell you March 27th, March 28th, and March 29th, I'm at the Brea Improv. If you want to help me, and you should ask all comics this that you like. Comics get bonuses certain nights. The 29th is a Sunday, and I get the door. They get the bar, I get the door. So if you, like, fill it on Sunday, March 29th, Brea Improv, that's when I will make more money than normal. But you can come whenever you want. I'm happy to see you. And by the way, this is important. I do meet and greets at my shows. And the thing is, on my website, jmohr.com, where I sell t-shirts and stuff, and you don't have to buy anything. I don't care if you buy anything. But if you do buy the blue Hey Man t-shirt, when I do the meet and greet, you're at the front of the line, and I spend extra time, and we really get to hang out. That's why it's more expensive than the other t-shirts. And if I do not, for some reason, do a meet and greet, first shows, it's tough to do a meet and greet. Like, if there's an 8 o'clock show and a 10 o'clock show, it's kind of hard to do a meet and greet at the 8 o'clock show because there's not enough time to turn the entire room over. You got, 300 people from the first show shaking hands, getting autographs, taking a lot of pictures. And then by the time... Hold on, let me close this. I'm in a tunnel. A tunnel? Where you at, man? Santa Monica Tunnel, baby. Beautiful. So if I don't do a meet and greet, like an 8 o'clock show or a 7 o'clock show on a Saturday, if you do have the blue, hey, man, t-shirt on, I will have security, and this has been done before. People can vouch for it. I will have you brought to the green room, and we hang out for like 10 minutes before the show, and we just break balls and hang out and take pictures, and you have way cooler experience because you get to sit there in the green room and watch football, baseball, basketball, or whatever's on, and watch me eat a cheeseburger with Dean Del Rey, who's usually opening for all those shows. So, yeah, come see me at Cobb's Comedy Club. Enough with the plugs, JJ. Well, I got to make a living. I got to go do stand-up. I work in radio now. Cobb's Comedy Club, San Francisco, March 12th through 15th. Brea Improv, March 27th. But I really would love it if you came March 29th. I'm going to pick up my son. I have a nanny. I hate the word nanny. When you have a kid and you have somebody that watches that child a lot, like 4 days a week, and you trust that person. Like, I've been to shows. My wife and I went to Florida, right? I had shows all through Florida. And we all went as a family. It was great. And then the nanny, Teresa, her name is. We call her Saint Teresa. She comes out. And then my wife and I want to spend a week alone in the sun in Florida. My wife wants to sunbathe topless out on the deck of the fancy hotel. And you can't do that with a kid running around. And, in all honesty, you want to make a little love and get down tonight. You can't do that with a 3-year-old running around. He's going to ask, how come mommy and daddy are always wrestling? So the nanny will fly out and actually fly home with your child and then have the child at her house. Now, a lot of people living on fixed income say, that is like the most Hollywood disgusting thing. And to that I say, no, it's not. It's like the actual greatest money you could ever spend. How bad do you wish somebody could watch your child for 24, 48 hours just so you could sleep and get well and have sex with your wife or your husband if you're a woman listening, or your husband if you're a gay guy listening, or your wife? You get the point. So right now, it's Valentine's Day weekend. I'm going to pick up my son because he went to St. Teresa's house for a couple nights. So my wife and I could do, Valentine's Day stuff. Like Cupid's arrow. As Russell Brand would say, Cupid had an arrow. He's a little baby. A little baby, pudgy, cherubic. And he shoots an arrow and he pierces your heart. I did not pierce my wife's heart. I did other things. So I'm going to pick him up, and he's healthy. He was sick earlier, 2 weeks ago. He had a horrible, horrible, horrible chest and head cold. Turned out he had bronchitis. And if you're a parent, there is no thinner line than the moment in your brain when the doctor goes, he's got bronchitis, between you going, oh, poor guy, and you better not fucking get me sick. Are you serious? I've been kissing you on the mouth for 1.5 years. Don't give me bronchitis, you germ. Poor guy. Don't give me fucking bronchitis, please. So I'm going to pick up my son right now, and I'm banging out this podcast for you in the meantime as I drive. My son, I had to take him to urgent care because he couldn't, breathe. It was horrible. It was terrible. And you want him to fight it on his own volition. You want him to be like a strong guy. You don't want to pump your kids full of antibiotics. So you go, we'll fight it. We'll take a lot of naps. But a funny thing happens when you're a parent. You ask a 3-year-old who has purple circles under their eyes. They look like they just got punched out. They got 2 black eyes. And they can't breathe, and you ask them to lay down and take a nap, and they go, no, I don't want to. And you want to grab them by the lapels. I like to imagine a 3-year-old wearing an outfit with lapels, like maybe a nice suit, like a summer suit, like a nice seersucker, maybe like a linen suit, like a striped linen suit, and he's got like a little pocket kerchief, and he has like lapels, and you grab him by his lapels in his little fancy suit, and you want to say, you don't want to take a nap? Don't you understand, past the age of 22, your entire life is going to be planned around when can I lay down and close my eyes for 5 fucking minutes? Are you dumb? But you can't say that to your kid because that would be abuse. And you promised yourself you'd be a better parent than the one you had. You can't say things like that to kids anymore. Are you dumb? Are you an idiot? Instead, everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a ribbon. I'm pulling up to Starbucks. You guys are about to hear me make a live Starbucks order right now. Guess what you think I'm going to buy? Guess. I took him to urgent care because it was a Sunday and the pediatrician wasn't open, right? So I find an urgent care. I got 2 urgent care stories, and then we'll talk about Mafia. I find an urgent care. It was UCLA in Santa Monica, and I go there. It's a Sunday, and the waiting room, by the way, at any urgent care, it doesn't. The urgent part is these people that are in the waiting room urgently need to either hurry up and die or start life over, because nobody really looks sort of well off or sort of clean. Or I know they're ill. I know that's why they're there. But I mean, you walk into urgent care, there are people like with casts, with mud and like vines growing out of their casts. It's really like a weird scene. You never go to urgent care and it's just like another parent with a kid and some, stripper with chlamydia that's like cleaned up and washed yourself up nice. Like, oh, we're all here just to get some help because it's a Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. No, it's like a bus station. And every once in a while, a doctor comes out after you sit there for 2 hours, and they give you help, and they give you a prescription. I take my son to urgent care. They ask me my name. I give them my name. I fill out the paperwork. For some reason, I'm in their computer already, which is really weird because I'd never been to this place before. Big Brother's watching. What's up? Big Brother's all onto us, people. I fill out all the paperwork. I'm sitting there with a 3-year-old that absolutely cannot breathe. And the guy behind the counter who does not speak English well. And I don't think English was his first language. And I'm not sure it was his second, to be honest with you. I think maybe this man was quadlingual. And I think English was bringing up to qua in quad. He handed me another piece of paper. He goes, could you fill this out? This is a piece of paper that says you're the guarantor. I said, what? He said, this is a piece of paper that says you're the guarantor. I said, I don't know what that means. He says, you're the guarantor. Hold on, here's Starbucks. You're going to like this story, though.
Hi, thanks for choosing Starbucks. What can I get started for you?
Hi, could I get a venti red eye, please, with room?
Red eye, is that going to be hot?
Yes, please.
And did you want any room for milk, cream, or sugar?
Yeah, I'd like room, please.
Room, terrific. So that's a venti red eye hot with room.
Yes, love. Thank you.
Great, we'll see you at the window. Thanks.
See how nice that is? Yes, please. Thank you. See how nice you can be to people? That lady has no idea. She was just on the Mohr Stories podcast. Whoa! So the guy who doesn't really speak English at all says, fill this piece of paper out. This shows that you're his guarantor. I said, excuse me? He goes, this shows that you're his guarantor. I said, I don't know what that means. He goes, guarantor. It guarantees that you will actually pay. Since he's a minor, you are the person guaranteed to pay his bill. And I thought, there's a piece of paper for that? I'm his father. It's not like he drove me. Yes, I'm going to pay. He's my child. There's an actual piece of paper. And first of all, guarantor, I think that was a word he made up because he was quadlingual. But I had to fill out a piece of paper proving or saying, or I don't know, under penalty of UCLA urgent care on a Sunday with hobos in the waiting room, that I was the guarantor, guaranteeing that I'm going to pay. Who the fuck do you think is going to pay? The 3-year-old? Like you're going to give him penicillin and then he's going to pat his pockets and take out a Lego helmet and a seahorse sticker and then ask for change? Of course I'm the guarantor. So I filled it out. I didn't say all that to the person because he was of dubious nationality and I didn't want any trouble. And then the guy said, hey, do you have your insurance card? And I said, no. And he said, oh, then you have to fill this out and making sure you go to the South Bay. And South Bay, if you live in Los Angeles, is another part of Los Angeles. It's like a drive. And I said, where is the South Bay? He goes, no, South Bay is just what we call the form. You got to understand, I am not a very smart person. So already my mind is frazzled. I got a sick kid. And I looked at my son. I said, how do you feel? He said, sick. I said, you want to just get out of here and go get donuts? And he goes, yes, I do. So we bounce out of urgent care. And I take my son Meredith Daniel, I take him to Krispy Kreme, and we just gorge ourselves on donuts. And it was a beautiful, like, father-son moment because I pulled him out of that awful urgent care with all those creepy people and all the paperwork and no kid toys to play with because it's, I guess, a grown-up urgent care. And we went and we just gorged ourselves on donuts. And then it was one of those moments where I'm sitting at Krispy Kreme at a table. He has a little chocolate milk. I had a vanilla milk, and we're sitting there eating donut after donut, and he's got like this little smile on his face, and he's looking at me like, man, my dad's the best. He took me from the doctor to the donut shop, and then he woke up Monday morning with 102 fever, and I realized, oh wow, I actually probably made this kid more sick with my big donut plan. So maybe sometimes hang in there at the urgent care and actually get the care you need. Even though the donuts was a good plan, in this case, my son was more sick the next day. So he gets on the antibiotics. He's fine. The antibiotics come, and he got all well. He's all better. So I'm not sending a sick kid to St. Teresa's house. He's perfectly healthy. One time I went to urgent care, and oh my gosh, I don't think I ever told this story before. I was jogging with my priest, Father Tim. I have a very athletic parish. St. Monica's in Santa Monica. Like Father Willie boxes. Father Tim likes to surf and run on the beach. So the route we would take, Father Tim and I would meet him at the rectory. The first time we decided to run together, and Father Tim's like really young. He's 30, I've mentioned him on the podcast before. He's like 35, right now he's probably 39. And he's really handsome, and all the girls in the parish call him Father What a Waste, because he's like a really good-looking surfer guy. So me and Father Tim, our thing was, I would meet him at the rectory at St. Monica's Parish, and he walks out of the rectory, and then we would run from the rectory down the Santa Monica incline, cross over onto the beach, then run on the beach, then run back up the hill to the rectory, and that's where we would be finished. The only problem was Father Tim comes out. He's not wearing his collar. He's dressed as like a guy, just like he's wearing like shorts and like a t-shirt and sneakers and socks. I'm like, well, let's say there's paparazzi on the beach and they're going to take pictures of me running. I like to run shirtless because I like to get sun. That's the only reason I run shirtless, is because that's 40 minutes. I can just get sun on my shoulders and it feels good. So, but I'm in good shape. Maybe I want to show off. Maybe somebody thinks I'm worthy of a paparazzi photo and I'm running on the beach with my priest, but he's not even wearing his collar. I felt gypped. I mean, how cool would that be? You open up Us Weekly, and there's a picture of me running, and with a guy, a priest, in his priest collar, and it would be like, there goes Jay Mohr, world's greatest Catholic. Look at him, he's jogging with his priest. I mean, he's really into the Holy Spirit. But no, Mr. Father Whataways decides to dress like a civilian, so I'm not sure how that went down. Kind of did me a disservice. Months prior to the jog with Father Tim, I had horrible, inexplicably painful shin splints for months and months and months and months. Now, I didn't know this. I learned this after the fact. Shin splints is your body saying, stop, don't do this anymore. Your legs will break. It's like an engine light on your car, but on your body. That's what shin splints are. So if you're jogging and you have shin splints, you got to figure some stuff out. Like now, after the fact, I can only run on, I can only run on the beach barefoot. If I run on cement at all for any length of time, my entire body, my shins, my knees, my hips, my feet, everything, my back, everything hurts. So I can only run barefoot on the beach, which is actually probably good for me. But I ignored my shin splints for months, like 5, 6, 8 months. I would actually get frozen peas out of my freezer and ice packs out of my freezer that were left over, and I would put them in my car. And then when I went jogging on the streets, my shins would hurt so bad, I would put like frozen peas. This is true. I would put frozen peas and carrots and shit in my socks. I would tuck them into the front of my socks, so I walked around all day with ice on my shins. And then at some point during the day, I had to find an undisclosed location, because you don't want people seeing you taking frozen peas out of your socks, because then you look like one of those crazy people at urgent care. See? Call back. Boom. And thank goodness. So I'm jogging with Father Tim. We're running through Santa Monica. Run like Montana, which is cement. It's a street, Montana. We're jogging all over the place. And then by the time we get to, I don't know, like a half mile, my leg feels like when you blow out a tire. And I don't want to say anything to Father Tim because I feel like I've broken my leg. Not I feel like, I know I've broken my leg. It's one of those pains where there's no ambiguity whatsoever, where you go, oh my God, this could only be one thing. Just like, you know what I mean? Like something hurts on your body and you go, I'm going to the doctor now. This is not okay. So I feel like my leg broke. I look down at my left leg and it looks like I have 3 kneecaps. And I go, okay, something is broken. This is really bad. I have to go to the hospital. And I look over at Father Tim, and he's just jogging with this ethereal light, this beautiful light, because he works for the Lord. And I can't tell a priest, hey, I'm hurt, let's stop. Because he's going to tell me, hey, you know, Jesus, he was in a lot of pain, walked to Galilee. You know, he probably could have pulled up, but he decided to keep going. I mean, Jesus he carried a cross all the way to his own death. He called it. He called his own shot in the book of John. He didn't stop. So I kept it to myself. So what I did instead was I said to Father Tim, I go, hey, do you ever do any cross training? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, how about we stop jogging and we'll just see who can do the most push-ups? So there I am with my priest outside of Starbucks on the sidewalk with like many, many, many people watching us. And we're just banging out push-ups. And then I realize, oh, this guy's going to like quadruple or triple my push-up outtake. This is a bad plan. He's in better shape than me. It's not like I'm going to do 150,000 push-ups and he's going to do 20 and I'm going to be like, hold on, I'm not done yet. So I finally have to cop to my priest, Father Tim. I think I broke my leg, so I have to go to urgent care. So I get my iPhone and I type in urgent care, Santa Monica. There's none. Urgent care, the nearest one that comes up is urgent care Malibu. It says, all right, urgent care Malibu is 3.3 miles from where you are right now. And I'm like, okay, great. I pull up to urgent care Malibu. My leg is absolutely there. I can't put any weight on it whatsoever. It's awful. I get to urgent care Malibu, and the sign out front says 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. There's actual hours to urgent care. Now, I don't run a health facility, but that's not urgent care. That's care. Urgent care is 24 hours. I broke my leg at like 9:05. I'm in the urgent care parking lot at 9:30. So now I got to sit in my car for a half hour waiting for semi-urgent care to open. That's not urgent. If I'd bitten by a rattlesnake, I would have died. Do you know what I mean? If I was having a heart attack, I would just be flopping around outside of my truck in the parking lot of semi-urgent care Malibu. So, 10 o'clock rolls around. I'm sitting in my truck throbbing. Like I can't take how bad my left leg is hurting, and it's awful. So, I see people inside urgent care Malibu, semi-urgent care Malibu on Pacific Coast Highway. And then at exactly 10 o'clock, the kid takes the sign from closed, cerrado, because it is Los Angeles, and he flips it over to open, abierto. And then he points to me like he knew I was there the whole time, and he waves to me like, okay, come on in. Now, I'm parked all the way across the parking lot because every parking spot is blue, like for handicap parking, and I don't have handicap plates or anything. I don't want to get a ticket, too, or get towed and have to take my damn crutches 3.5 miles home. So I actually get out of my truck, and on my right leg, I hop 60 yards, 50, I don't want to exaggerate, 40 yards from my truck to the front door of semi-urgent care Malibu, and the kid's holding the door for me. He's like a young nurse, like a surfer guy, like, I don't know, 28 years old. And as I get to the door hopping, he goes, yo, bro, I totally should have come out and gotten you with a wheelchair. I'm like, yeah, you think? What gave that away? The fact that I have 3 kneecaps and I'm hopping across a fucking parking lot? Jeez. So I get into the urgent care, and they put me in a bed. Now, the thing is, there's only 3 beds in this urgent care in Malibu. And if you live in Santa Monica, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, West Side, Brentwood, you probably know the one I'm talking about. They lay me down in a bed, and they go, okay, Dr. Ferguson will be right with you. Already I'm excited. My middle name is Ferguson, so obviously this doctor knows what he's talking about, and he's also a great doctor because we share a name. You know, when you're in a bed, a hospital bed or an urgent care bed, they have that sheet on like a shower curtain that goes all the way around your bed for privacy, and that's like your wall, just that sheet that goes all the way around, like that shower curtain that goes around your bed. Well, at Urgent Care Malibu, they pull the sheet, but it only goes like 3/4 of the way. It's not long enough to fully enclose me for privacy. So if I look to my left, the part that's open, I see a 15-year-old kid laying on his side, his right side. He's facing me, and there are 2 nurses and a doctor. I'm not making this up, and they are very busy in this kid's ass. Like, they are full-on rooting around in this kid's rear end, like if they're going to pull out Chilean minors. I don't know what's going down, and the kid's staring at me like, thank God you're here, help. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So what I do is I reach out and I pull the curtain all the way to my left, which reveals the person to the bed to the right of me, which is an obese woman wearing a bikini slathered in suntan oil. Not sunscreen, oil. Like, she looks like she's ready to be basted. Like, tie her feet together and pin them behind her back, and she would look like a turkey on Thanksgiving. She is like glistening in like Crisco oil, some type of weird, I don't know, body glove oil, and she is crying at the top of her lungs. Oh, oh, oh. And then finally, a doctor or a nurse, I can't tell because it's Malibu and they're all kind of wearing the same thing, comes running over and says, what's the problem, my love? What is it? And the lady goes, I got stung by a bee. And my first thought was, stung by a bee? My leg, I look like a Civil War veteran. Look at my leg. I got a musket wound. But then I realized if she's allergic to bees, she could die right here in front of me because she goes into anaphylactic shock. Her throat closes. Her heart will stop. So now now there's like a show going on in front of me. I'm excited. I don't want the lady to die, but I mean, it's not the worst story that you would tell at a party. In fact, it'd be the opposite. It would be like, oh my God, I got a story. Like right now, I could tell you this. She didn't die. But if she did die, wouldn't that be amazing right now on the podcast if I told you about the time I watched a lady die from a bee sting? That'd be amazing, right? But the doctor says to the woman, oh my gosh, because she said she got stung by a bee, and everybody assumed the same thing, like she's about to go into anaphylactic shock and die. And the doctor says, honey, are you allergic to bees? And the big, fat, glistening, oily lady says, no. And they all just walk away from her and leave her alone. And my first thought was, why? I get stung by a bee all the time. Like, I'm always like rooting around in the garden. I'll get stung by bees. I don't cry. I don't go to urgent care for a bee sting. I don't know where it stung her. Maybe it stung her someplace unmentionable, one of her pink parts, where you would go to urgent care. That was my first thought. My second thought was, how the fuck did these 2 people get in here before me? I mean, I was there when the guy flipped the sign from closed to open. Like, did they sleep over? I was very confused. Very, very confused. I'm going to finish the story in a second. Got to give love to some commercial sponsors. And all you people, oh, by the way, everybody that tweets me that the podcast has too many commercials, 3 minutes, 55 seconds total in an hour-long podcast. And a lot of times it's an hour and a half. So you guys can kiss my ass. Listen to these real quick, and I'm going to finish up this story and then talk about Mafia.
Springtime is the best time to visit Vegas and get the best deals. My name is Jay Mohr. I go to Vegas all the time, and I always check in at Vegas.com and figure out the best place to stay for the best price. Spring break, March Madness, NASCAR, clubs, EDM events. You're going to want to go to Vegas.com. With a little help from your friends at Vegas.com, you can save even more money. Listeners have saved real money at Vegas.com with exclusive offers like $84 off at the Bellagio, $56 off at Luxor. How about $100 off for Cirque du Soleil? I'll take it, and I did. Vegas.com. It's the only way to book Vegas, I'm telling you. Everybody knows insiders get the best deals. Be an insider. Be cool. Don't be like one of those weirdos that just show up with a fanny pack and a Hawaiian shirt. Go to Vegas.com and get the good deals in the good rooms. Dropwatch continues to monitor the price even after you book. You know what Dropwatch is? It is Vegas.com's proprietary tool. It's called Dropwatch. It promises to lower the rates as the rates get low. So even if you go to Vegas.com and get a good rate, if that rate gets lower, Dropwatch drops it for you. Again, you got a best price guarantee even after you've been paid. You've got a best price guarantee even after you've paid. Vegas.com offers the best rates on not just hotels, but headliner shows, tours, attractions, VIP bottle service at top clubs. Heck, maybe you come see me. Go to Vegas.com right now, my friend. Click on the microphone in the top right corner and enter my code, Mohr, M-O-H-R, and receive an extra 10% off everything but air hotel packages. That's Vegas.com. Click on the microphone and get your bonus savings by using my secret code, Mohr. Don't tell anybody. M-O-H-R. It's a secret code, but I'm going to give it to you. Book it today. Vegas.com. I get very itchy, dry skin in the cold months. That's why I use Tricom. Tricom works like no other anti-itch product. A recent study shows that Tricom 5 times more effective at reducing itch than 1% hydrocortisone, which, by the way, is a topical steroid. What are you going to do? Rub steroids into your hands? Have some crazy big steroid hands? You don't need that. You know what you need? Tricom, steroid-free. It's a safe thing to use for your entire family. Children 2 years and older. You don't want to rub it on a baby. That'd be weird. It's fast absorbing. Tricom relieves winter itches, which gets worse during the colder, drier months. Tricom you can use in the warmer months, too, on bug bites. Poison ivy, poison oak, sumac, and other common skin irritations. Let me tell you something. Most people aren't aware that a product they use, like hydrocortisone, is a topical steroid. Most people have 2 to 3 anti-itch products in their medicine cabinets. Do you know what that means? That means none of them work. That means none of them work if you have 2 or 3. Get one. Get Tricom. Tricom is backed by the itch-free guarantee. If a user like you, let's say you get Tricom and you don't like it, you can use the entire thing and send them back an empty tube and they'll give you a full refund, even after you use the whole thing. Tricom, my friends, get after it.
All right, so the lady with the bee sting that's not allergic to bees is freaking out, and she's screaming and blubbering. And as she cries and sobs, I'm watching her fat jiggle. And I'm not mocking obese or fat people at all. It's just, you have to understand, I'm in excruciating pain. To my left, there's a kid with people with like forceps and speculums and like a jeweler's loop. Like how a jeweler would look at a diamond through a loop. They're looking in this kid's asshole. I don't want to see that. That's frightening. Maybe I'm next. Maybe I went to the wrong place. So I decided to keep the show to my right open. To the big fat glistening lady who every time she cries, her whole body like ripples, like the fat crying ripple goes like from head to toe. It's fascinating. Like I've seen fat people like jog and kind of wiggle around, but I've never seen somebody laying flat on their back wearing a very tiny, tiny bikini, oiled and lubed up, crying, and then watch a sobbing fat ripple. That fascinated me, and I chose that to be the show that I was going to watch. Finally, Dr. Ferguson comes in, and he is not a he, he's a she, with the largest, and I mean largest, fake breasts I have ever seen in person in my life. Ever. Well, JJ, how do you know that they were fake breasts? Because they looked like bags of peat moss. It was absurd. And she was wearing like a low cut, almost like a James Pierce or like something from The Row. You like that? I know my fashion. I would have been good on Project Runway. I'm going to be a straight Tim Gunn. Make it work. Fake boobs as a doctor. I like it. Not too matchy, okay. I don't know why Tim Gunn sounded like Lorne Michaels. Jay, we're going to look in this young man's buttocks to see what we lost. If you could lean over and look at the fat lady, crying and whimpering and shimmering, that would help the show. So this Dr. Ferguson lady has, and I may or may not have changed the name to protect identities and not get sued. They are alarming. Like not hey, wow, those are big boobs. Like, oh my God, how do you type? How do you swing a golf club? How do you get in your car? They were distracting, to say the least, and I'm not turned on by them in the least. I'm more, holy shit, like, what the fuck went through your mind as a person who's an actual medical doctor that went to another medical doctor and said, hey, those giant bags of cement, I want those. You know the ones Heidi Montag had? I want her to look like a pussy. I want, if there's a shipwreck and we're all in the ocean, I want people floating towards my breasts as life preservers and a flotation. It was just bad. It was bad news. So they give me a whole bunch of x-rays, and she asked me on the pain chart what kind of pain I was in. And everybody knows that pain chart. The first guy's smiling. It's just happy faces, 1 through 10. First guy's smiling, so I don't know why he's on the pain chart to begin with. And it's not until like 6 where the smiley face actually turns a little hue of pinkish red and kind of looks bummed out. And then 8, he's hurt. 9 is hurt with like smoke coming out of his ears. And 10, he's crying. And I realized, well, I'm here because it's the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I'm about to say 10, but I can't say 10 because if you lit me on fire, it would go up. Like I'm there because it's a 10. But if you came in and kicked my leg, it would go up more. Does that make sense? So if like I'm there because it's a 10, that's why I went to urgent care. My leg's broken. I can't believe the pain I'm in. It's astounding. It's in so much pain. I didn't wait till Monday like I did with my child because I'm more important than my kid, apparently. This is actually when he was an infant. This is a while ago, this story. So I don't want to say 10 because obviously, like if you kick me in my shin, or if you like grab my nuts, or if you were fishing and the hook caught me in the lip and you, like, it would go up. So I say 6, and Dr. Ferguson goes, oh, like I'm not worthy of urgent care status. And I go, 60. Like I can't even explain, because I realized she was about to bail on me and go to the bee sting lady. So I say 6D. So what happens is they take like 5 or 6 x-rays, and it turns out I had a stress fracture and I also had a torn meniscus, and they give me a cast on my left leg, an air cast, not like the good old school one that your friends sign, like that plaster one that gets all itchy. It's one I can actually take on and off. They give me a cast, they give me crutches, they give me a prescription for like pain medication, and then I'm driving home, and I can't wait to just get home and tell my wife, the beautiful Nicole Avery Cox Mohr. I can't wait to tell her how crazy an experience this was. I tell her everything I just told you, probably a much longer version because it was fresh in my mind. And then she says, oh my gosh. And she had many questions about the fat bee sting lady and what do you think they were looking for in that kid's rear end. And I just kept telling her, I don't know. But the kid kept staring at me like, help me, get me out of here. And then finally my wife goes, how much did all that cost? And I realized nothing. For some reason, they never gave me a bill. Like maybe they were way too preoccupied with the kid's anus and like what's inside his anal cavity, and the bee sting lady was making too much noise. So maybe, as Barry Katz would say, you should send the fat lady a fruit basket. They were so distracted with the fat bee sting lady, they forgot to charge you, man. You should send that lady a fruit basket. Is that Obamacare? I'm not making a joke about Obamacare. Like, is that, I don't know how it worked or how it operated. All I know is I was at urgent care from the moment they opened. There were people already in beds when I hopped in. I was there for about 2 hours, and then I hopped home after having many x-rays, had a cast and a prescription for pain pills, and they never said, how would you like to pay for this? the surfer guy opened the door for me and said, "This time you got crutches, so I guess you're all right on your own, bro." And I said, "Yeah, actually, you're right. I am okay on my own." So, Malibu Urgent Care, oh my God, I just realized, what if they charge me now? This whole story was made up. None of this happened. Don't charge me now, because I never broke my leg. I don't have a priest. I'm an atheist. I just realized, what if Urgent Care Malibu goes, "Oh yeah, we could have gotten $3,000 out of that guy for $500 an X-ray," but they never charged me, which I thought was fascinating. You guys ask me a lot about Mafia. I'm on the 405 freeway right now, by the way, and I'm a little amazed at there's a lot of bumper stickers right now. A lot. Like every car. That's a weird thing anyway. Like you get a brand new Mercedes and then you put like ask me about my grandchildren on the back of it. You got like a S500. I know they don't make them anymore, but I don't know what new Mercedes are called. You got like a brand new Corvette or a Mercedes truck, Mercedes wagon, and immediately you just start slapping stickers on the back, lowering the value even more. Ask me about my grandchildren. I brake for ferrets. I don't know if that's the best way for you and I to communicate. Other motorists, like this guy right here, has actual ferrets. I love my ferret, and then ask me about my ferret, and then ask me about my grandchildren, and it's a Mercedes wagon. And I don't know what, like, he needs me to know all that about him, but it's not like when he exits on Venice Boulevard to go to, Target, I'm going to follow him into the store and go, hey, what's going on with your grandchildren? What's going on with them? Do you like ferrets? I saw your bumper stickers. I followed you in. Anyway, I digress. Mafia, because you guys keep asking me to talk about Mafia, was an amazing experience. First of all, it's the only time I ever had my name above the title of the movie. Actually, that's not true. Seeing Other People, I believe my name was above the title. And by the way, Seeing Other People is my actual all-time favorite movie that I was ever in. And I think you would really love it if you got it. Let me take a sip of coffee. Hold on here. Delish. Oh, so yummy. Yeah, I went that long without tasting it. You like that? Committed to the podcast. Mafia was the first time it actually said Jay Mohr, Lloyd Bridges, Christina Applegate, and then under that was the name of the movie. And that's when you think you're like really hot shit in Hollywood. You're like, oh my God, like I'm above the title. That's like a big thing. So that was a trip. The movie did not do particularly well. I think it made about like $48 million total. I think the budget for the movie was $80 million. So they got their teeth kicked in. But you read the script. It's written by Jim Abrams, who wrote Airplane and Hot Shots, that Charlie Sheen movie, Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. So you immediately go, well, this is going to make a ton of money because, well, Airplane, Hot Shots Part 2, all of those made over $100 million. This is fantastic. And as I was reading the script, I really thought it was hysterical, and it was hysterical, and the movie is hysterical. So I go in to read for little Anthony Cortino, was my name in the movie, and it was so funny. But what's really weird and what the head trip was is all the comedy happens around me. Like it's people go like, hey, you've been in comedies before, like you were in Mafia. I'm like, yeah, but Mafia, I had to do everything completely straight because, somebody was falling off of a ladder behind me. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like it wasn't like I was walking in, I wasn't like Brick Tamland and Anchorman going, I love lamp, and saying like weird stuff. I was like saying things to Christina Applegate as gardeners behind us were wrestling a midget into rose bushes. It was really weird. And you had to play it straight. Even though the lines were really funny, you couldn't be like a dick and go, da-da-da, right, funny, right, guys? Like you had to play completely straight and actually kind of be I guess, an actor more than a comic, but you had to be a comic actor to pull it off. So I auditioned for, I think I auditioned twice. I auditioned for the casting lady first. I forget her name, forgive me. And then after I auditioned for her, about a week went by, and they said they want you to audition for Baldino. I forget his first name, but he did Aliens, and he was the producer of Mafia as well. And Jim Abrams and all the other producers. And I was like, okay, great. Because when you audition for the director and when you audition for the producers, you're right there. Like you are, they're not going to see you. And David Mamet's got a great book, True and False. And he really has great stuff about the auditioning process. And you have to realize they don't want to see you. They know who they want, and they're only seeing you until that person's contract gets done. It's a charade. It's a farce. They got a short list of 6 guys or 6 gals that they want. These 2 people can't do it. They're preoccupied. They got other commitments. The list goes down to 4. The list goes to 3. And they do everything they can to get those 3 people signed on the line that is dotted. But then you can go in and you can do such a good job that you cause a situation or a problem where they go, forget everybody we had in mind. This guy actually is the best, or this girl is the best person for the job. So if you're at the director and you're at the producers with the director in a room, it's no longer a farce. It's the real deal. It is. You are at the last table in the World Series of Poker. Like you're in it. Like you're right there, because otherwise they wouldn't see you. So the audition was at the Ambassador Hotel where Bobby Kennedy got shot, and I thought, wow, this is a great omen. Bobby Kennedy got whacked, and I'm about to go in and try to get a comedy. What 2 things go better? Let's see. Sirhan, busboy, puts a couple slugs into who would have been the next president of the United States and ended the Vietnam War and sends a country into misery. And then Jay Mohr will audition for a movie where Lloyd Bridges gets hit over the head with a frying pan and lights a cat's tail because he thinks it's a cigar. Regardless, I make my way, and they got like these bungalows set up. They kind of took over, and that's what happens when you make a movie. They take over something, whether it be a few streets, a few buildings. If you film a movie, it's like an entire neighborhood is just locked down. If you're shooting, anytime you've ever seen a movie and it's a scene in like a living room, that's not, like that's someone's house that got rented out. And for a week and a half, just grips and, wardrobe people and actors just took shits in the house, and they're just walking around smoking cigarettes in the backyard. You've just caved in and let people like pirates just dominate your home and your street. And there's, like I said in the other solo podcast, a camera truck. And there's just all these, like, there's 18-wheelers everywhere and porta potties, and all the streets all of a sudden are closed. You can't go to your own house because they're filming a fucking scene for some stupid, High School High movie or something. I just use that as an example. I've never seen it, so I don't even know if it's good or bad. So they have taken over the Ambassador Hotel where Bobby Kennedy got shot. They got bungalows. It's a nice operation because the hotel, which is gone now, they tore it down, which I never understood. You would think they would keep it up and running. They kind of like renovated one part of it to film a lot of them. We filmed a lot of Mafia in the Ambassador Hotel, like the pool stuff, all the stuff when we're swimming in the pool. That's the Ambassador Hotel pool. Pretty nice and weird because you got to fill a pool up. You can't have cold water because you're in there for 6 hours. You'll get hypothermia. So they actually have to fill the pool up with 88-degree water. And you get in there in the pool when you're filming like a scene where you're swimming around in a pool, and you're in there for like an hour, and then your teeth just start chattering, and you turn purple, and you think to yourself, wait a minute, when I got on this, it felt like a goddamn jacuzzi. Why all of a sudden is my teeth chattering and I'm freaking out? Oh, I don't know, because it's 10 degrees colder than your body temperature, dummy, and you're wearing a bathing suit? So what happens is you wear skin-colored bodysuits when you're in a pool and you film a movie in a pool at night. At least I did. And the people in the movie, I think Pamela Gidley was her name, that I was in the pool with. So what happens is there's scuba divers in the pool making sure you don't drown. And there's there's like fire hoses going over one end of the pool out, you can't see it on camera. And what happens is they just keep pumping 88-degree water into the pool to make sure everybody's warm. But you eventually start to freeze to death in 88-degree water. I bet you didn't know that. So what you do is, it doesn't help a lot, but it feels like it helps a lot, is when there's a break in the action, you go over to one of those hoses and you pull like your pant leg, like your wetsuit pant. You just pull that up to the side and you stick the hose up this, like where my shins are, if we're going to do a callback, picture putting like a hose, like your garden hose under your wetsuit pointing up past your shin bone. And then your whole wetsuit gets huge, like a sumo outfit, and it's just filled with hot water, and it feels fantastic for a little while. Anyway, I digress. So when I did the movie Mafia, that was Lloyd Bridges' last movie, and it was really, really sad because you could tell he wasn't long for this world. At one point, there's scenes where Lloyd Bridges, who was a beautiful guy, and he was really kind, where he's laying in a hospital bed, and I have to go talk to Lloyd Bridges, who plays my father in the movie. Like, he's Marlon Brando, and I'm like De Niro in Mafia. And he couldn't remember his lines, and they tried a lot. But what happened was, I stood so long with Lloyd Bridges during the filming of the movie that I could tell by the way he messed up a line. This is going to sound weird, but bear with me. I could tell by the way he messed up a line whether or not it was gone forever or if he was actually going to get back on track. And then what happened was, we were doing this scene where he was in the hospital bed, and I was standing by his bed and telling him, like people got whacked in the family and stuff like that, and we have to go to war, the mob war. And I realized, something was kind of slipping in his mind. He was never going to get those lines memorized, and I told Jim Abrams, who's a beautiful man, like a great, great, great guy, and he's got a beautiful son named Charlie. I told him, and they set up a teleprompter at the edge of the hospital bed, but that at one point became difficult for Lloyd. But, I mean, he died like 6 months after the fact. He was really sick. And just the fact that he was hanging in there and showing up at 6 a.m. and leaving at 8 p.m. Let you know the work ethic that the guy had. I mean, he was in Sea Hunt, for crying out loud. But Mafia, Christina Applegate was nice. Nothing to report. She was just very nice. We got along well. It was kind of like a professional, nice thing. We told kind of goofy stories once in a while, but not really. And I don't really know why that was. Maybe she just, as Russell Brand says, I was going to spend more time with you, but then I just sort of went about living my life. But she was very nice. She was fine and dandy. I met wonderful people on the set of Mafia. Phil Soriano, who was one of my dearest friends, he was Joe Pesci's brother, Frankie, when they get whacked and they get hit over the head with the baseball bats in Casino. He's in Mafia, and me and him became like best friends, like best I love you, kiss each other on the cheek every time we see each other friends. And he had one of the funniest lines to me in the entire script. And for some reason, anytime I've ever seen anybody watch the movie, it doesn't get a laugh. And maybe it's because I have like comedy hearing, but like it's a giant Italian dinner, and it's me, it's my brother, and I forget the actor's name that played my brother. and Christina Applegate's meeting my family for the first time, and like everyone is just fighting, screaming, hitting each other over the head with like plates and smashing plates and cursing across the table, and we're like, I'm gonna shoot him in his fucking greaseball. There's those, not fucking, because it's PG-13. I'm gonna shoot him in his greaseball face. I'm gonna take his entrails and wrap them around his throat. And there's like an old lady going, it was Olympia Dukakis going, I'm gonna pull his stomach out through his ass and light it on fire. And then in the middle of all this like crazy screaming and yelling, Phil Soriano just stands up and goes, who wants tea? And like the funniest, to me, that's the funniest line, like in 20 minutes in either direction of the whole movie. Just, who wants tea? That's all he said. Who wants tea? And then nobody answers because we're all screaming, so he just shrugs his shoulders and goes, I'm going to get tea. When I auditioned for Mafia, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to do my best to memorize more. I'll tell you what happened. We were shooting in Reno at the Peppermill Casino. And if you want to shoot a movie at a casino, obviously they're not going to let you in there like at 6 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning. You can't do like a regular night shoot because that's when all the degenerate gamblers are out drinking, smoking, and gambling. So you go to Reno, and that was the first time I ever flew on a charter jet, which you should all try. When there's just a plane waiting for you, and you get on the plane, and there's just 150 of people that you know, and you're all just sitting with no seatbelts talking, and nobody cares. Like, it never dawns on you that anything could go wrong. You definitely need to try a charter jet one day, if you ever get the chance. But we're filming at the Peppermill Casino, but the hours are 3 a.m. to 3 p.m., because that's when it's the least busy, which means I got to wake up at 1 in the morning, like all of a sudden, just for 2 weeks, I have to train my body to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, shower, shave, get my shit together, shampoo, all that stuff, and get in a van and be brought down to hair and makeup so I can be camera ready at 3 a.m. That's weird. That is a weird hustle. And look, there's nothing hard about acting, but I will say this. The hours can get really mind-numbingly tedious, and that will take its toll on your body. But it's only for 2 weeks, and then you go home, and you don't work again for a year. So it's actually okay. So we were filming in the casino, and it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty empty, but they still have active tables. Like, you could still gamble. You could still play blackjack. And what I did was, I had to walk by, and there was a bunch of Arab guys in the scene playing Candyland. And there was another group of Arab guys. They had like a bunch of goofy games in the movie, like What Number Am I Thinking Of? Like in Vegas Vacation, they stole that from us. Like What Number Am I Thinking Of? Heads or Tails. But Candyland was the one I thought was really funny. There was a Candyland table in the movie Mafia in the casino. And I remember I had to walk by and just look at the dealer of Candyland, or the guy that rolls the dice for Candyland, and say, hey, keep your eye on these guys. I think they're stealing towels. Because they have the stuff on their head, I don't know what you call it. I do, but I can't think of it right now. Because they're Arab men with the big, long things on their heads and their robes. So all I got to do is walk by and say, keep your eye on these guys. I think they're stealing towels. That's all I have to do. But in a movie, that takes 2 hours. Everything has to be lit. There's extras, and somebody walks in front of you when you deliver the line, so your face isn't on camera when you say the line. So they got to do it over and over and over and over. Then you got to get a shot of me walking. Then you got to get a shot of me from behind. Then you got to get a shot of the Arab guys with me walking up to the dealer. Then you get a shot, just a close-up of me alone. Then a real close-up shot. Then you get a close-up of my mouth next to the dealer's ear whispering. So it takes like 2 hours. So what I would do was I would stand, I'm like 50 feet from that Candyland table, and there's a real blackjack table. And I would bet like $50, and if I lost, they would say action, so I had to walk away. But if I won, they said action, so I had to walk away anyway. So the reason people lose all their money and lose their shirts and become degenerate scumbag gamblers is because they never walk away from the damn table, right? So I didn't have a choice because they would go, and so like I'd be like, hit me, and he'd be like, okay, you won, and I'd be like, okay, double down, let's play again, and then I would win again. I win like $350, and I'd go, okay, let's action. So I would just have to take my chips, put them in my pocket, and walk and do the scene. I never won more money gambling in my life, only because Jim Abrams saying action forced me to walk away from the table. I'm sure I would have given thousands of dollars back to the Peppermill Casino. There's a scene of Mafia that got cut out where we're all playing softball, and the guy that plays my brother in the movie, he's a cokehead, and there's like shots of him like snorting the first baseline. It was fun. It was a fun scene to do, and I love baseball so much. They actually got the Reno minor league team. Hold on, I'm sipping coffee here. Well, you know what? That's getting not so hot. My coffee's not as hot as it was, so we're going to wrap this up. There was like an actual like minor league team in Reno, and they were playing the other team, the other softball team. So I, being Mr. like, hey, I'm a jock, I just go out into center field, and as these guys are just raking balls into the atmosphere, like they are crushing balls that are either going over the fence or close enough where I can make a jump and act like a hero and try to catch it over the fence. I'm just running all over the outfield with the mitt that I brought from home, my actual high school mitt that has 37 on it. And I realize after like 8 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, I am going to have a heart attack and die. And I can't figure out what's wrong with me. Like something is wrong. I cannot breathe. My heart, I took my pulse, and it was like 180. And I went up to the medic. There's a medic on every movie set who is your best friend because, you know, if you get hurt, they will save your life. It's usually somebody that was in the Army and they saw like time in Afghanistan, like 3 tours, and now this is like the best job in the world. I just get to sit here on a movie set and hopefully nobody needs stitches. I run up to the medic, I forget the guy's name, and I tell him, I think I'm dying, I'm having a heart attack. He goes, yeah, I saw you running around out there. I go, I don't know what's wrong. He goes, oh, I don't know, we're at 8,000 feet? I didn't realize Reno was at a higher altitude, or wherever this baseball park was at like a super high altitude, and I didn't know it. And I'm just out there and just running around like trying to impress this minor league baseball team at high altitude. So he gave me oxygen, and I was fine. I'm going to tell you this about Mafia. And this is why Mafia will always have a very special place in my heart. Mafia, I auditioned for Jim Abrams and the producers, Bottolato. I said his name earlier. I hope I got it right. A bunch of producers and Jim Abrams and a few writers. And I did the audition, and I read for them the scenes a couple times through. Like each scene we did about 2 or 3 times. So I was in there about 20 minutes total. And they said, okay, thanks a lot. Will you wait outside for a second in case we want you to read something else? And I said, sure. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm not going to be the lead. That usually means, like in Jerry Maguire, that audition, wait outside, we'll come in, you read for something else, we'll see where else we can fit you in because you're not right for whatever it is we thought you were right for, so just hang out, we're going to talk about it. So I sat in the waiting room for about 5 minutes outside this bungalow at the Ambassador Hotel, and then they said, okay, you can go back in. And then I went back into the audition room, and they were all standing up smiling, and I said, what's going on? They said, so, you ready to work? You want to do this? And I was so confused because they were telling me I had the job, and that has never happened before in my life. Ever. Like usually you audition, you have to wait like 3 to 4 months and calling your agent, did they like me? Who is it? Who is it? Who am I up against? And they literally, that's how cool they were. That's how great a guy Jim Abrams is. I'm telling you. As I auditioned, they said, wait outside 1 sec, please. I waited outside for like minutes. Then they invited me back in, and they were all standing up, and they just said, so you ready to do this? Are you excited about it? And I was like, yeah. And I thought they meant, are you excited to like audition more? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And they said, all right, so you'll go to wardrobe. And I was like, oh my God, like I have it. And I had to say out loud, you're giving me, like, I have it? And they said, yeah. You're Anthony Cortino. And I said, this can't be taken, like, away from me? Like, it's mine. And they go, it's yours, relax. So that's what was really awesome about Mafia. It was the first time, probably in show business history, they actually told an actor he had the job at the audition instead of making him wait like a dick by the phone for 3 months. Do they like me? But they like me. And that, I'll tell you, when you run an operation like that and you feel that good because they feel that encouraged and confident in you from the start, man, you skip to work. There's no complaining. I mean, you could do a 20-hour day, but you don't care because they were kind enough to just tell me that I had the job at the time. And I'll say this, it's never happened since. Use the Amazon banner at jmohr.com. This has been a solo shot. Mike D gonna come with the sure shot. Hey, put your name on it.
Yeah. Underground. Never stop, y'all. Underground. KP, y'all. Come on. Ain't no stopping what we done. Don't give up. This fight is won. There's no way they can hold us down. Cause the power and strength we gotta take it now. Take that stand, realize the truth. Get 'em up now. Just get it up now. There's no way they can hold us down. Cause the power and strength we gotta take it now. BRONX. See these cars, see these checks, intellect. See these thugs, ain't no sweat, intellect. 1,000 miles, how do you do it? One step. Now check out this flow. They wanna be down, but they can't. Original, criminal, minded flow. They just ain't ready for the real, ready to peel off the paint. Your style is fake, and teacher returns to debate. You the best, that's bull. You questionable, highly flexible. Wasn't you sexual? Now you hardcore. You need to see God more. I sit on the faculty, you sophomore.